Hi, welcome to another video. So, Anthropic just dropped something really cool for Claude Code users. It's called Remote Control, and it basically lets you control your Claude Code sessions from your phone. Yeah, you heard that right. You can start a coding task on your computer, walk away, and then pick it up from your phone or any other device. And the best part is, everything still runs locally on your machine. Nothing moves to the cloud. Now, if you've been following my channel, you probably know about OpenClaw. OpenClaw has been massive this year. It's the open source personal AI assistant that connects to WhatsApp, Telegram, Signal, iMessage, basically all your messaging platforms, and lets you interact with AI models from your phone. A lot of developers were using OpenClaw specifically to control Claude Code from their phones, because before today, there was no official way to do that. Well, Anthropic clearly took notice, because remote control is essentially their official answer to OpenClaw, at least for the coding workflow side of things. So, let's get right into it. Now, if you've ever used Claude Code, you know the pain. You start a task in the terminal. Maybe you tell Claude to refactor a module or build out a new feature, and then you're stuck at your desk waiting for it to finish. You can't just walk away because Claude might ask you a question or need your approval to do something. OpenClaw solved this by routing everything through messaging apps. You'd message Claude through WhatsApp, it would process the task, and you could go about your day. But the problem with OpenClaw is that it requires a bunch of setup. You need API keys, you need to configure messaging platform adapters, and most importantly, there have been some serious security concerns. There was actually a remote code execution vulnerability, CVE 2026-25253, that got a lot of people worried. Because OpenClaw is self-hosted, you're managing all the security yourself. With remote control, Anthropic has basically said, okay, we'll give you the same mobile workflow, but with native integration, end-to-end encryption, and none of the security headaches. Remote control works by creating a connection between your local Claude Code session and the Claude mobile app, or the Claude web interface at claude.ai/code. So your terminal keeps running. Claude keeps doing its thing locally with full access to your file system, your MCP servers, your tools, your project configuration, all of it. But now you can see and interact with that session from your phone. This is pretty amazing, to be honest. Now, let's talk about how you actually use it. There are two ways to start a remote control session. The first way is by running Claude RC in your terminal. This starts a brand new session, and you can pass flags like --sandbox if you want. The second way is by typing /rc inside an existing Claude Code session. This is great because it carries over your current conversation history. So if you're already deep into a task with Claude, you just type /rc and you can take that whole session mobile. Compare that to OpenClaw, where you'd need to set up the whole messaging bridge, configure your API credentials, install platform-specific dependencies like Signal CLI for Signal or a Telegram bot token. With remote control, it's literally one command. Once you start a remote control session, Claude Code will show you a session URL and a QR code right in the terminal. You can scan that QR code with your phone to open the session directly in the Claude app. Or you can just open the URL in any browser. Or, if you already have the Claude app open, you'll see the session listed by name in your session list, which is just amazing. It's so seamless. Now here's something I really like. If your laptop goes to sleep or your network drops, the session doesn't just die. It stays alive in the background and automatically reconnects when your machine comes back online, so you don't have to worry about losing your progress. OpenClaw handles this through persistent memory, which is cool, but it's a different approach. OpenClaw remembers your context across sessions for weeks. Remote control keeps your actual live session alive. So it's more like a direct connection rather than a memory-based system. Now, let's talk about the setup requirements, because this is important. Now, this is one area where OpenClaw does have an advantage. OpenClaw is completely free. You don't pay a dime for OpenClaw itself. You just pay for the API keys you connect to it. And if you really want to avoid paying anything at all, you can run local models like Llama 4 or Kimi 2.5 through Llama. So if you're a student or on a tight budget, OpenClaw is still a solid option for that reason. Second, you need to update your Claude Code to version 2.1.52 or later. Just run your usual update command and you should be good. Third, you need to be logged in. If you haven't already, just run Claude in your terminal and use the /login command to sign in through Claude.ai. And finally, you need to have trusted the workspace. Just run Claude in your project directory at least once and accept the workspace trust dialog. Once all of that's done, you're good to go. Now, there are a couple of nice quality of life features as well. You can name your sessions before going remote. Just use the /rename command before typing /rc. This is actually really helpful because by default, sessions just get named after your last message or something generic like remote control session. And if you have multiple sessions going, that gets confusing fast. You can also enable remote control for all sessions automatically. Just type /config inside Claude Code and toggle the setting that says Enable Remote Control for all sessions. That way, you don't have to type /rc every time. Oh, and if you don't have the Claude app yet, you can type /mobile inside Claude Code and it'll show you a QR code to download the app on iOS or Android, which is a nice touch. Now, let me give you the honest comparison between remote control and OpenClaw, because I think this is what most of you want to hear. If all you care about is controlling Claude Code from your phone while coding, remote control wins. It's native, it's secure, it's one command to set up, and it just works. No third-party dependencies, no security risks to manage yourself. But if you want a full personal AI assistant that does more than just coding, OpenClaw is still the better tool for that. OpenClaw connects to over 500 apps. It can manage your calendar, browse the web, control smart home devices, send emails, all through your messaging apps. Remote control only handles Claude Code sessions. It's not a life assistant. It's a coding remote. So they're not really competing with each other. They solve different problems. But for the specific use case of controlling Claude Code from your phone, which is what a lot of people were using OpenClaw for, Anthropic has now given you an official, safer alternative. Now, let me share some numbers that really put things in perspective. As of right now, Claude Code has hit a $2.5 billion annualized run rate. That's more than doubled since the start of this year. And apparently, 4% of all public GitHub commits worldwide are now authored by Claude Code. That's insane. By adding remote control, Anthropic is basically making it even easier for developers to stay productive from anywhere. I believe this is one of the most practical features they've released in a while. It's not some flashy benchmark improvement or a new model drop. It's just a really smart quality of life feature that solves a real problem. You start a task, you go grab coffee, you check on it from your phone, you approve something, and by the time you're back at your desk, the work is done. Overall, it's pretty cool. Anyway, share your thoughts below and subscribe to the channel. You can also donate via Super Thanks option or join the channel as well and get some perks. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.